Shannon, what's your biggest takeaway from what he had to say?
Thank you, KD. People want to make it seem like people in locker rooms punch each other all the time. He said, guys get in heated discussions all the time. In practice, in the game, we've seen that. Guys don't go around punching guys. And we gave the story, I think it was Chicago, Skip, with Meritage and Bobby Portis. What happened? Somebody had to go. It was that simple. Somebody had to go. Again, I like Draymond. I like the way he plays the game. But I don't care what people say with Draymond, and people are trying that they're glorifying Draymond because he hit somebody that he was bigger than he knew he could get a victory of. No, there's nothing Jordan Poole, unless this man talked about Draymond's wife, he said something about Draymond's kids, or he said something about Draymond's mom.
Yep.
That's the only reason to justify Draymond firing on this man. Other than that, every other thing you try to tell me is unacceptable. If he said, Draymond, I'm about to get $300 million, and you about to be playing in the G League, you about to be playing in Israel, Taiwan, and Thailand, I don't give a damn what he said about money. Nothing he said could warrant Draymond hitting him. So can we stop that narrative? And stop saying because the tape got out. Well, if the tape didn't get out, we would, whoa, the man hit him. Who cares? Who cares that the tape got out? I believe the tape got out to make Draymond look worse than he actually was. That's what I believe personally. I don't believe that some intern went rogue. So if this is true, all this stuff, so why it never got out before? If this what happens all the time, why nobody ever got out in anywhere else? But just this one time it got out. I believe it got out to paint Draymond a certain way. That's just here or there. I agree with KD. It's easy, Skip. Because like guys all the time. Like I said, I see it all the time. Guys, huffing and puffing and you move on. It's a different ball game, Skip, when guys punch each other. Trust me, it's a different ball game. That relationship is not repairable. Now, look, and I know what Draymond says, hey, he's a professional, I'm a professional, and we're going to get past it, but that relationship will never be the same. The dynamic of that locker room won't be the same. It's not. I've been in the locker room with guys fighting, and it wasn't the same. They were both on the same side of the ball, and it wasn't the same. Because you know why? You had to choose. You roll with him or you roll with him. Ain't no neutral, ain't no Switzerland.
That's true.
It's as simple as that.
Yep.
And I was in the locker room for 14 years, and I'm talking about NFL locker room. I've been in college locker rooms where they fought. I've been in high school where they fought. And you choose. That's just the way it is. And anybody that tells you otherwise, they're lying.
So Warriors are going to have to choose as we speak?
I don't believe that. I believe what transpired. I believe they would have chosen had they not won the title. Because I think they were in the title, Skip, and Draymond was an integral part of that. But Jordan Poole was an integral part of also. That makes it seem like Jordan Poole is just a guy.
No.
He's not just a guy. He's legit. He's a legit third option.
Well, he's the new member of the Big Three is what he is.
Yeah. And so maybe he said, Draymond, hey, your time as a member of the Big Three is coming past. It's come and gone.
Yep.
Now your boy is a pool party.
Yeah.
Anybody want to come to the pool party?
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. Skip, this is. I agree with KD on this one. Man, this is tough. This is tough. But he said he believes the ownership, Joe Lacob, those other guys, Bob Myers, Steve Kerr, Clay, Steph, he believed that they have enough leadership in the locker room to repair it.
Yep.
Something of this magnitude, Skip, man. If they do, Skip, if they can repair this, I'm going to have to say Steph is one of the 5 best leaders in NBA history if he can get past this here, Skip. I mean, Steph leads in a different way than a lot of other leaders have led in the NBA, and I don't have a problem with his style of leadership because clearly it works. But, man, Skip, I'm with KD on this one. I just feel that the Warriors feel their best chance of repeating is with Draymond, and they don't. Skip, at the end of the day, it's the same thing that Mike Tomlin said when AB did what he did.
Yep.
I'm not going to punish ourselves. It's the same thing that Tom Coughlin, when OBJ did what he did, he's like, I'm trying to win the game.
He did.
I'm not going to punish myself. I'm not going to punish myself. I'm not going to suspend myself.
Yep.
So
he wouldn't even yank him from the game.
Hell nah. He tried to win that game because, he tried to save his job.
Yep. So if anybody knows this situation from the inside out, it's one Kevin Durant.
Correct.
And Kevin did laud and applaud the mantra at Golden State, which he calls strength in numbers.
Right.
It's a collaborative effort. And he said it's not just Steph alone trying to fix this right now. Iggy's involved and everybody, Steve and Bob Myers.
That's Skip. That's why you have a guy like Iggy or Jared Dudley or Udonis Haslem. The numbers don't say it, Skip, but the leadership that they have in the locker room.
Yep. Okay, so here's where Kevin lost me. But I'm more old school, and I think you are too, but I'm way more old school than Kevin is on this one point. He referred back to the clash that he and Draymond had over who was going to bring the ball up the floor, which seems completely childish, you know.
It does.
And yet they're sitting over on the bench at Staples. It's versus Clippers, and they get into it back and forth. And Draymond reportedly, and nobody ever said no on this, Draymond called him, as he's wont to call a lot of people, the B word.
Yeah.
And this is just me, and I've told you, and I think you concur, but in my realm, certainly as I was growing up, if another man called me that word, not only is it a fighting word, but it's a bridge burner to the ground word, where I can't go back on that. You can say, I'll forgive, but I'm not forgetting that one, and we're done. We're just done. I'll respect you from a distance.
Yeah, keep your arm length.
Yeah, we're done. We are over, and we are out. So Draymond's a real piece of work because he's called a number of people the B word, including reportedly Jordan Poole.
Thank you.
Okay. During an NBA Finals game, he yelled the B word at LeBron.
Right.
Yelled the B word, and it was shocking. And he followed it up by following LeBron up the court and getting entangled and trying to kick him in the midsection, just as he had kicked Steven Adams in the midsection and other people in the midsection before.
Yes.
So now he's a completely literal below-the-belt player, a cheap shot artist, because that's about that is the cheapest you can get, right?
Yep.
And yet, he got suspended. LeBron, Kyrie roar back and win the championship. And he should have been vilified for this, Draymond. And yet it kind of came and went. And then the next thing I know in the offseason, Draymond has become a business partner with LeBron James, right?
Yep.
On which is it on Undefeated?
He's on the shop, Undefeated.
Yeah, it's on
Uninterrupted.
I'm sorry, uninterrupted. Uninterrupted. So he sort of buys into the business. You can argue LeBron's doing the old mafia idea of keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Right.
But they become very close friends after he called him the B word out of anger in the heat of battle.
Right.
But still, he did that. And now back to Kevin. He gets called the B word. He leaves in part. I think that at least greased the skids for him to be out of there. And as you've talked about his rivalry, sort of unspoken rivalry with Steph within Dub Nation, right? He's never going to be beloved as Steph.
Right.
Whatever the case, he went there and did what he set out to do. He won the 2 rings. He won the 2 Finals MVPs, and he said, I'm out.
Right.
Okay, so the next thing I know, 2 summers ago, Olympics, I look up, and Draymond and Kevin have rebonded, and they're besties. And they're hugging, and and remember Draymond launched his podcast, and who was his first big guest? Wall to wall was KD. And I'm saying, how do you do this? Draymond is a rare piece of work because he has been a thorn in this organization's side again and again and again. Blow-ups, emotional outbursts, one thing after another. But he has a certain lovability about him, a charisma about him.
He have some clout in that organization.
Yeah, well, he does, but he also has the kind of personality that they are forgiving and forgetting of, where they some guys are just natural-born jerks, and once you cross the line, it just stays crossed.
I think what happens, Skip, they got what they call a 5-to-1. They got 5 good guys and one Draymond.
Yeah.
So you can have, as long as you can have that, you got a locker room, you got 12 of those guys, you got 12 good guys and 1 bad guy. You can go there. Because just like any football locker room, you can have 1 or 2 bad guys, but you can't have a locker room full of them.
That is true. Well, the old basketball cliche is you can have 1 bad apple, and you can just figure it out.
Yes.
That's the Spurs mantra. That was Popovich and R.C. Buford.
Yeah.
We can deal with 1, but we can't deal with 2 because we have 2, it goes sideways.
So Draymond is the apple.
Okay, but there's some redeeming quality in his personality where he can sort of lure himself back down to, I was so wrong. He can be very lovable that way.
Because you listen to his apology, he seemed very sincere.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing, Skip. If If nobody knew who he was and you just listen at him talk and you see the way he talk about the game, you're like, damn, he's so knowledgeable. Man, I really like him.
Yeah, I agree.
But then you look, damn, Draymond, I don't like him. So he has that ability. He's somewhat like a chameleon. He can make you dislike him.
He can.
Even if he's on your team, he can make you dislike him. But then he has a quality to make you like, man, hey, boy, I'm so glad you're on my team, man. Bruh, good job, Dre.
Remember his walk-off or run-off after game 1 at Memphis where he got kicked out and he circles the court going crazy?
Right.
And I'm thinking...
He's getting the crowd up.
Yeah, but I'm thinking... These are the Golden State Warriors. These guys have won rings, and he's doing that, and he leaves and goes straight home, doesn't talk to the media, and does a podcast from his hotel in Memphis.
Right.
Remember that?
Right.
And I'm thinking, it's Tomlin-esque with AB in the locker room, right? And I'm thinking, how did they let him get away with this? Well, it's just Draymond being Draymond, and they all shrug and go on to the next day because deep down, they still love this guy. And so they think they're going to make it work. I don't think it'll work because of what you said. A line got crossed with a punch that went even beyond the B word.
Yeah.
That's what Kevin is saying. Like he says, this is rare.
Yeah.
And Kevin wouldn't even speak to that. He just said, I have no idea how they're going to get through that part.
Right. I agree with you, Kevin.
Yeah.
And the Denver Nuggets come calling on the Warriors tonight. It'll be interesting to see what that team chemistry is like on the Warriors bench. A lot of folks will be paying attention to that. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.